what exactly team thinks about this win? Because this was so easy.
No, it's a practice game. It's always good to get what best you can out of it. So, personally for me or personally for the team or from our point of view, I think we have to get as much as we can from this game rather than looking at what the result is. Because at the end of the day, you go day after tomorrow, this doesn't matter. So you got to really start again, and it's personally left to each individual as to what they take out from this game. That's about it.
How did Umesh and Ishan ball? And second question is, Dale Steyn is said to be not fit for South African game. So your thoughts on that? How big impact will that be?
I mean, especially coming to us rather than talking about others, Umesh bowled really well today. And he's always one of those bowlers who can give that extra bit of sting in our pace attack, and to knock off a couple of wickets early is always going to be a help, and with probably two spinners and the third seamer, we can always put pressure on the game later on. So with respect to that, Umesh bowled really well, and Ishant has been doing pretty well in the one days, starting from England as well. So he's a pretty experienced campaigner. He knows what he's doing.
What about Dinesh Karthik's innings? He's in pink of form.
Looks like he's hitting it clean. He's in a purple. He's probably in a purple patch. We just hope that he goes on and keeps getting these hundreds every game. But yeah, as I said, taking as much as you can from this game is very important. But you need to know that you got to start fresh going into day after tomorrow.
Ashwin, you're so used to bowling, if not in the power play overs, so soon after that in matches back home. How much of an adjustment has it been to come and bowl on pitches like this, where you're almost a peripheral figure with the Pacers dominating?
See, I mean, if you come to a fact realizing that it's a team game, this won't matter at all, because at the end of the day, what you have to look at is just the team winning and the team doing really well. As long as the Pacers are knocking off enough wickets, I'm really happy. So there ends the topic.
Huge boundary line compared to all T20 games you played recently. Is this going to be a bit of challenge?
I think you need to adapt to it as much as you get on. I mean, the boundaries are going to be different. Certain parts of the boundaries are really big, and some areas it's really short. So I think you need to figure that out as to where exactly you need to put your fielders and adjust your length according to that. So it's just about adaptation, and the team that's adapting quicker to the scenario and to the ground is going to do really well.
Ashwin, where do you see the role of the Indian spinners, considering that the Pacers have really got the wickets? In the first match, the spinners got it. Second match, the quick bowlers got it. Where do you see the role? Where do you see the balance?
See, I think it's more about matching against your opponents, and if both of us can really cancel out the opponent spinners or the opponent fourth or fifth bowler, then I think we're doing a fine job. It's all about winning that particular contest with the opposition spinners, or opposition fourth and fifth bowler, or the third, fourth, and fifth, however it comes down to.
Ashwin, just from that question, I mean, when you look at the quicks, the next three teams that you're facing in the league rounds are, I mean, South Africa, West Indies, and Pakistan. Potentially, every match you're playing minimum of 30 overs of quality pace. I mean, how are you looking at that? I mean,
See, as I said, to take forward from this game, I think we've batted pretty well so far. Yes, we've lost a little bit of early wickets. Probably we can just address that and just be a little cautious. The coach has mentioned a few things. He's pretty used to the England conditions. He said, the more longer you bat, it's going to get easier in England. It'll never get tough like it does in subcontinent. So that's a lesson we can learn and keep going on from there.
Last one. And since you mentioned Duncan, and there was this experience coming with Duncan to England in 2011, and now coming here again, I mean, does he understand, as a coach, does he understand the potential of this Indian team much better than what it was the last time?
See, I think it's always to do a lot with experience. He's someone who's got a lot of experience. He's just passing on the experience. As far as a coach or a man manager is concerned, he can only pass on the knowledge. He cannot catch the bat or ball and do anything for you. So he's always been passing on the knowledge. It's up to us to really take it and just go forward from there.
India made 39 for 4, you made 28 for 5. Was it really that hard to play the new ball on that pitch?
Well, that would suggest it was. It certainly, I don't think it was doing a great deal. There was a little bit of swing, but nothing unplayable. You know, it was a wicket that we'd played on the other day, and I don't think there were any gremlins in it. So it was probably just a good lesson, I guess, of what two new balls are going to be capable of. You know, I think you're going to have good techniques, perhaps be a little bit more patient than what we're used to at the start of your innings in one-day cricket.
Shil Barry, Sunday Telegraph. Could you please tell us what the latest is about your captain, Michael Clarke?
Much the same as this morning. It's just precautionary, really, with him. I mean, it's his back, which is always going to be the issue with Pup. He's just had some stiffness there in the last couple of days, and obviously with such an important tournament, we didn't really see fit to risk him in these games, and a reasonably big summer coming up after this tournament as well. So it's very much a case of managing him almost on a day-by-day basis. That's certainly the plan at the moment. That's what we're aiming towards, and I think that's what he's aiming towards, that he'll be available Saturday. Yeah.
Captain, do you think that match like this dent your preparation for the tournament?
It's not ideal. Yeah, I don't think you ever want to have a game like that in any, whether it's a practice game or not. So it's not something that we'd be particularly happy with. Yeah, I mean, I thought we started pretty well with the ball, but just fell away a little bit. But having said that, they batted pretty well, and it looked like a very good batting wicket. And once again, we saw that if you can keep some wickets in hand, there's some plenty of runs to be had with only having 4 out at the back end. But when it came for us to respond to that with our turn with the bat, it just there wasn't much there. I thought Adam Vogue's batted well. He looked good. There's some ordinary shot selection. Thought they bowled quite nicely, but all in all, a pretty disappointing performance with the bat.
George, was Michael here, or was he watching the horror unfold in the hotel?
No, he's here. He's been here and just getting treatment and taking it easy. Yeah.
Quite a few catches went down, unlike Australian standards. You almost had Indians by the grip, but you let them score so many runs, almost 200 runs in the last 25 overs. What went wrong with the bowling?
With the ball? At the time, I didn't think we were doing a great deal wrong. I think we kept the pressure on. I thought they were both pretty circumspect. I saw at one stage, I think Dinesh was 61 off 95 or 96 balls. That to me says at that stage we're bowling pretty well. MS was his usual self, and he can be hard to bowl to at different stages. We did put some catches down, but mostly towards the back end. I don't think we bowled particularly badly. I wasn't standing out there getting too frustrated with how we were bowling. There's certainly some things that you do differently and things that we'll work on, but to be honest, as much as you might say that we didn't bowl as well as we liked, I thought they both batted particularly well.
If Australia were to lose Michael Clarke for this tournament, how big will that blow, and are you ready to lead Australia?
Well, 2 questions. Yeah, a huge blow. I mean, I think there's no doubt he's our best batsman and our captain, and I think he's someone that we need in the side. We certainly look forward to having in the side. As to whether I'm ready to captain, I believe so. And if that's the case, I'm of the belief that I think Pup's ready to go Saturday. Until that changes, then I'll start preparing them. But I've enjoyed my time captaining these couple of practice games. Get along well with the players. I think we've got some good leaders around me, a lot of senior players who have played a lot of cricket as well too. But I'm expecting Pup to be there.
Do these warm-ups sort of mess with the mind? I mean, as much as you say we're professional about it, with things we can learn, we want to get a psychological advantage, as much as you say that, you're playing a friendly against a side you might meet in a few days' time that means nothing. I mean, do you find that difficult?
Well, it can be, and I think a lot of these games come down to your attitude individually and as a team. We've tried to take them as seriously as possible by only playing 11 players. I know sides have played all 15, and but that's up to the individual if that's what you're allowed to do. We've certainly tried to. I think given that we've got some guys who haven't played a lot of one-day cricket, so it's important to start to deal with the pressure of knowing your role and knowing you might be in at 3 for 10, or knowing you have to bowl 4 or 5 overs because someone's not going to bowl their 10 or whatever it might be. So that's how we tried to take it. But it's not an ideal result to then have to, knowing that that's a side that you might have to come up against in the semi-finals. And on the flip side, I'm sure they'll take a lot of confidence out of the fact that they were 5 for 40 and can still get to 300. That's something they must be very pleased with.